Have you ever woken up with that suffocating feeling that the day will just fly by and you won't manage to get anything truly important done? That even when you do everything right, by the end of the day you realize that another 24 hours have slipped away and you're still stuck in the same place? Now imagine something even scarier. If you keep letting your days slip by like this, without control, without focus, without direction, a year from now, 365 days will have been lost. Years go by, dreams are left behind, and you find yourself in the exact same spot. No growth, no achievements, trapped in a routine that drains you. Scary, isn't it? But that's exactly what happens to most people. I know how hard it is to admit this, but you're not alone. We've all felt that frustration, that fear of looking back and realizing time has passed and life has simply slipped away. And that's why you need a change now, before more days keep slipping through your fingers. The good news? There's a way to turn this around. In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 simple, but incredibly powerful habits that will transform your day, give you control over your time, boost your energy, and make every hour feel truly worthwhile. So, stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share can mean the difference between continuing to feel stuck and exhausted every single day, or finally living with focus, energy, and real results. And let me warn you, if you ignore these habits, your routine will keep controlling you. But if you apply them, you'll take control of your life and finally feel like every single day has meaning and purpose. Have you noticed how most people start their day on autopilot? The alarm goes off, they grab their phone, open social media, and instantly get bombarded with a flood of information, problems, opinions, and comparisons. All of this before even brushing their teeth. This seemingly harmless act already programs your brain to live in reactive mode instead of creative mode. When you wake up and the first thing you do is check bad news, reply to messages, or compare yourself to someone else's perfect life on Instagram, you're handing over control of your day to the outside world. And the result is clear. You feel anxious, overwhelmed, behind schedule, like you're constantly chasing something you can't even define. But there is another option, and it starts with a simple but powerful choice: waking up with intention. To wake up with intention means consciously choosing how you want to feel, what you want to think, and what kind of energy you'll carry throughout your day. It's a moment of alignment between what you want for your life and what you're willing to do to get there. And no, we're not talking about a long or mystical ritual. Just 1 minute after waking up can completely change the way you face your day. Picture this. You open your eyes, and before grabbing your phone or worrying about problems, you simply breathe deeply. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold the air for a few seconds, and exhale gently through your mouth. In that instant, you're sending a clear message to your brain. We are safe. We are present. We are ready. That single breath already lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and activates your brain's focus and clarity. Now, with a calmer mind, ask yourself this question: what can I do today that will make me 1% better than yesterday? Notice something. It's not about perfection, and it's not about conquering the whole world at once. It's about progress. It's about building a mindset of continuous growth. This question shifts you from autopilot into conscious living. Here's a practical tip. Keep a notebook or notepad next to your bed. When you wake up, write down a short sentence setting your intention for the day. For example, today I'll stay calm, even in difficult situations. Today I'll choose kindness over impulsiveness. Today I'll do something that gets me closer to my goals. These little sentences act like mental commands. They direct your energy toward what truly matters. Now, let's talk about the difference between waking up with intention and waking up on autopilot. When you wake up with intention, you choose to be the main character of your day. You stop dragging yourself through tasks and start acting with purpose. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the creator of your routine. On the other hand, when you wake up on autopilot, you live in constant urgency. Everything is a priority. Everything is stressful. You don't know where you're going, so any distraction pulls you off track. And here's the trap. This autopilot keeps repeating itself day after day until suddenly months go by and nothing has changed. That's why the habit of waking up with intention is the first step to transforming not just your day, but your life. Because the first hour of your day is when you plant the seeds of your mindset. And if you plant chaos, you'll harvest confusion. But if you plant intention, you'll harvest clarity, focus, and productivity. So tomorrow morning, before anything else, remember this. You have the power to decide how your day will begin. And that decision changes everything. Now, let's talk about something most people ignore, the connection between body and mind. When your body is sluggish, slow, lazy, your mind follows the same path. But when you move your body, even for just a few minutes, you flip a hidden switch that awakens energy, clarity, and motivation to face the day. Most people think they need a full hour at the gym to feel good. And that's why they end up doing nothing, because they believe they don't have time or energy or resources. But the truth is, what really transforms your energy isn't the length of the workout, but the intensity and consistency of small movements first thing in the morning. Think about it. When you wake up and spend just 5 minutes stretching, doing some jumping jacks, walking around your house, or even doing a few push-ups, you're sending a clear message to your brain. I'm not starting this day in lazy mode. I'm starting awake, active, prepared. And here's the science behind it. Moving your body releases endorphins and dopamine, neurotransmitters linked to pleasure and motivation. It also increases blood flow, sending more oxygen and nutrients to your brain. That means in just a few minutes of movement, you boost your focus, memory, and productivity. It's like turning on your car's engine before driving. And this isn't just theory. The world's top leaders, entrepreneurs, and high-performance individuals all share one thing in common. They move in the morning. It doesn't matter if it's yoga, running, lifting weights, or simply walking outside. They understand it's not just about physical health, but about mental and emotional readiness. It's about putting yourself in a state of preparation to handle whatever the day brings. And let me emphasize this. Don't complicate what's simple. If you believe you need expensive equipment, fancy clothes, or a crowded gym to start, you're just creating excuses. The truth is, the floor of your house can be your gym. Your own body is the best training tool you already have. Here's a quick example. Right after waking up, before even having coffee, try this 5-minute mini routine. 1 minute of jumping jacks to wake up your heart. 1 minute of stretching, reaching arms and legs. 1 minute of planks or push-ups to activate muscles. 1 minute of squats to strengthen your legs. 1 minute of deep breathing to finish. In just 5 minutes, you'll have boosted your circulation, oxygenated your brain, and awakened your vital energy. This small habit can completely change the way you face your day. And here's something even bigger. When you build a movement routine, you're not just taking care of your body. You're building discipline. Because every time you keep that small promise to yourself, you strengthen the identity of someone who does what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And that discipline spills over into every area of your life. Work, studies, relationships, and even your biggest dreams. Remember this. Inertia is poison. The longer you stay still, the harder it is to start. But action creates movement, and movement creates more action. It's a powerful cycle. The secret is always the same. Just take the first step. So, the next time you wake up feeling tired, unmotivated, not wanting to leave bed, remind yourself, it's not the body that controls the mind. It's the mind that controls the body. Get up, move, even for just a few minutes, and watch your energy change instantly. Because in the end, it's not about being an athlete or having the perfect body. It's about starting your day actively, sending a clear message to the universe. Today I'm ready. Today I'm going all in. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get lost in the middle of so many tasks, responsibilities, and distractions? Most people start their day with a feeling that they have 1,000 things to do, but by the end of it, they look back and wonder, did I really accomplish anything important today? Or was I just putting out fires? This is a trap of our times, confusing being busy with being productive. And the difference between the two is brutal. Being busy is living in a rush, answering messages, solving small problems, saying yes to everything and everyone, but never truly feeling progress. Being productive, on the other hand, is having clarity about what truly matters and putting your energy only into what will bring results. That's why the third habit is so powerful. Planning 3 priorities for your day. Not 10, Not 20, not 50. Just 3. But why 3? Because 3 is enough to generate meaningful progress and, at the same time, small enough to keep your focus. When you define 3 priorities, you're telling yourself, this is what really matters. If I only accomplish these 3 things, I'll go to sleep with a sense of victory. Now, let me tell you an uncomfortable truth. Lack of clarity is the biggest energy thief that exists. When you don't know exactly what you need to do, any distraction feels like a priority. It's like walking into a maze without a map. You spend energy, you walk a lot, but you don't move forward. On the other hand, when you have clarity, even the hardest tasks feel lighter because you know exactly where you're going. And here's the practice. Early in the morning or even the night before, write down on paper or in your phone the 3 main tasks that will guide your day. It could be something professional, like finishing an important report, closing a deal, or studying a chapter of a book. It could be something personal, like spending quality time with your family, exercising, or organizing your workspace. The point is not quantity, but the impact those tasks will generate. Now, let me share something powerful. When you look at those 3 priorities, ask yourself, if I could only accomplish these 3 things today, would I still consider my day productive? If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. If the answer is no, chances are you're filling your day with irrelevant tasks. And do you know what's most transformative? This habit not only increases your productivity, but also reduces anxiety. Because instead of carrying the weight of an endless list, you carry only 3 clear goals. It's like trading a backpack full of rocks for 3 solid blocks that you know exactly where to place. Another point many people ignore is the order of execution. Whenever possible, tackle the most important priority early in the morning, the one that demands the most mental energy. That's because as the day goes on, your willpower decreases. If you leave the most important for last, you risk being too tired and postponing it. But when you handle the essential right at the start, you carry with you the sense of victory, and that fuels the rest of your day. And here's a reflection. What separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones is not working more, but working with purpose. Great leaders, entrepreneurs, and artists don't try to do everything. They choose wisely what to focus on. They know that energy and time are limited resources, and wasting them on small things is a luxury no one can afford. So, when you wake up tomorrow, don't fall into the trap of opening your phone and letting the world decide your schedule. Grab a piece of paper, write down your 3 priorities, and take control of your day. Remember, you don't need to do everything. You need to do what matters. And when you learn to tell the difference between the 2, you'll realize that life doesn't need to be rushed. It needs to be directed. At the end of the day, productivity is not about quantity. It's about clarity. And clarity is power. There's an old saying that goes, you are what you consume. And we're not just talking about food or drinks, but mainly about what you allow into your mind every day. Because, in the end, your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of wisdom, discipline, and inspiration, you'll harvest growth and prosperity. But if you allow seeds of fear, pessimism, and distraction to be planted, inevitably you'll reap anxiety, discouragement, and stagnation. Now, stop and think with me. How much of your day do you really dedicate to feeding your mind? Many people wake up, grab their phone, and spend 30 minutes scrolling through negative news, gossip, scandals, and comparisons on social media. This information enters the mind silently, like small drops of poison that, over time, destroy clarity, motivation, and vision of the future. And then the person doesn't understand why they feel unmotivated, drained, or afraid to try something new. On the other hand, there are those who consciously choose what they consume. They're the ones who trade 10 minutes of endless scrolling for 10 minutes of reading an inspiring book. Who prefer to listen to a podcast that expands their ideas instead of wasting time with empty conversations? Who select content that brings them closer to their dreams instead of feeding on things that only reinforce limitations? The truth is simple. The quality of your life will be directly proportional to the quality of the thoughts you feed daily. If your mind is filled with big ideas, learning, and positive references, you will naturally act differently. Because thought creates emotion, emotion creates action, and action creates results. It's an inevitable cycle. Now, let me share a practical example. Imagine two people starting their day. The first spends 15 minutes reading a book on personal development, learns a new way to organize goals, and leaves the house with a practical idea to apply. The second person, in the same amount of time, watches videos of tragedies, fights, and online controversies. Which one do you think will have more energy, clarity, and motivation to face the challenges of the day? That's why nourishing the mind is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Just like the body needs healthy food to stay strong, the mind needs quality information to stay focused and productive. And here's a secret. You don't need hours and hours of study each day to start transforming your mind. With just 15 to 20 minutes of reading, audio, or quality video a day, over the course of a year, you'll have consumed the equivalent of dozens of books, hundreds of ideas, and thousands of new perspectives. This accumulation of knowledge creates an invisible advantage inside you. While many are standing still, you are growing. And growing in silence is the most powerful weapon there is. Another fundamental point. Be selective with the voices you listen to. Not every piece of advice is valid. Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. Choose mentors, authors, and references who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Stop feeding on the negativity of people who build nothing, and start seeking inspiration from those who expand horizons. And there's more. Nourishing the mind is not only about learning new things, but also about protecting yourself from the overload of useless information. Today we live in the age of data overload. It's phone notifications, WhatsApp messages, news every second. If you don't filter, your mind becomes a landfill of mental junk. But when you wisely choose what enters, you turn your mind into fertile ground for creative ideas and solutions. So, the habit is simple but profound. Every day, set aside time to feed your mind with something that moves you forward. It could be a book, a lecture, a guided meditation, or even a good conversation with someone who inspires you. The format doesn't matter. What matters is the quality of the content. Remember, what you put into your mind today will determine the decisions you make tomorrow, and the decisions you make tomorrow will shape your future. Therefore, taking care of your mind isn't optional. It's an investment in the life you want to live. Because at the end of the day, you're not defined by the environment you were born into, but by the mental environment you decide to create within yourself every single day. We live in an age where being busy has become a kind of trophy. People brag about always being on the run, always occupied, always out of time. But the real truth is that success isn't defined by the number of hours you work, but by the quality of the energy with which those hours are spent. And that's where one of the most underestimated, yet most transformative habits comes in. Taking small, conscious breaks throughout the day. Think about it. A cell phone, no matter how advanced, won't work if the battery runs out. A car, no matter how powerful, won't move without fuel. And yet, we humans believe we can run at maximum speed all the time without recharging. The result is obvious. Exhaustion, stress, reduced productivity, lack of creativity, and even illness. Science backs this up. The human brain wasn't built to maintain absolute focus for long, uninterrupted hours. Research shows that our attention works in cycles, and every 60 to 90 minutes, we need a pause to restore mental energy. Without that pause, the brain goes into overload. And what happens? You start working slower, making more mistakes, and feeling that heavy mental weight, as if everything were just too difficult. Now, imagine two people in the same office. The first works nonstop from the moment she arrives until she leaves. She barely gets up from her chair, eats whatever is at her desk, and even replies to messages during lunch. By the end of the day, she's exhausted, irritable, and feels like she worked a lot but accomplished very little. The second person, on the other hand, takes small, conscious breaks throughout the day. After each cycle of focus, she gets up, drinks a glass of water, takes a deep breath, goes for a quick walk, looks at the sky, or stretches for 2 minutes. At the end of the day, even though she may have worked fewer effective hours, she feels clearer mentally, more creative, more energized, and most importantly, she produced with quality. Which of these two people do you think will go further? The difference lies in the habit of respecting one's own limits. And don't confuse breaks with laziness. Laziness is giving up before you start. A break is recharging so you can keep going stronger. It's like a marathon runner. He doesn't sprint the entire race at maximum speed. He paces himself, manages his energy, knows when to accelerate and when to breathe. And the best part is that you don't need long breaks. 5 minutes is enough to renew your focus. In that time, you can do something as simple as standing up, stretching your body, walking a little, or even close your eyes and practicing deep breathing. The key is intention. It's not just about stopping for the sake of stopping, but stopping with awareness. Here's another powerful detail. These pauses create mental space for new ideas to emerge. Have you ever noticed that many of your best insights come in the shower, walking outside, or even while drinking coffee? That happens because the mind needs space to reorganize information. When you pause for a few minutes, the brain connects dots that were previously scattered and often gives you the solution you couldn't find before. Here's a practical exercise. Divide your day into 60 to 90-minute blocks of intense focus. After each block, take a short break. It could be getting up to drink water, looking out the window, or taking a deep breath. This simple cycle drastically increases productivity and reduces the feeling of burnout. And here's something even more interesting. These small breaks also improve emotional well-being. When you pause and breathe, you send a signal to your body that you are safe, that you don't need to live in constant alert mode. This reduces anxiety, improves your mood, and even makes your relationships lighter because you're not reacting impulsively to everything. At the core, taking breaks during the day is an act of intelligence and self-respect. It's recognizing that we are not machines and that our energy is the most precious resource we have. Those who understand this learn to play the game of life with strategy, not just brute force. So remember, rest is not wasted time. Rest is part of the process. And the more you respect your pauses, the stronger, more creative, and more productive you become. Most people end their day by simply switching off their brain. They eat dinner, turn on the TV or scroll their phone, and go to bed without reflecting on what really happened. But there's a secret that very few people apply: the power of conscious review at the end of the day. This practice is simple, quick, and transformative because it connects you with your own life in a clear and strategic way. When you review your day, you look back with awareness, noticing where you spent energy, which decisions worked, what brought results, and what could have been done differently. It's like looking at a map at the end of a trip. You understand where you've been, identify detours, and learn how to chart more efficient routes for the future. Without this review, the risk is huge. You keep repeating patterns, wasting time and energy, and don't even notice. And worse, you live on autopilot, not realizing that every day wasted is one less brick in construction of your goals. Now, imagine this. You get home, sit in silence for a few minutes, and ask yourself, what did I accomplish today that brings me closer to my goals? When could I have acted better? What am I grateful for today? These questions may seem simple, but when answered honestly, they transform how you see yourself. You start to view each day as an opportunity. Each mistake is a lesson, and each success as proof you're on the right path. And here's something powerful. Daily review doesn't need to be long. 5 to 10 minutes is enough. You can write in a journal, type on your phone, or simply reflect mentally. The important thing is to connect with your day, absorb the lessons, and plan for tomorrow. Now think with me. What's the difference between someone who does a daily review and someone who doesn't? The one who reviews builds awareness and consistency. They don't rely on fragmented memory. They don't forget lessons. They don't repeat the same mistakes. They spot patterns, discover what works, and eliminate what doesn't. And this doesn't just apply to work or study. It also impacts relationships, health, and emotional balance. By reflecting daily, you begin to identify moments of irritation, anxiety, or discouragement, and you start to understand the triggers behind these emotions. Over time, this practice develops emotional intelligence because you stop reacting automatically and start acting consciously. Another essential point: gratitude. During the review, take a moment to recognize small victories, even the simplest ones. It could be a compliment you received, a task completed, or that moment of peace in the middle of the rush. Gratitude is mental fuel that reduces stress, increases personal satisfaction, and transforms how you perceive what happens around you. And there's more. Daily review builds discipline and control. You become the protagonist of your own time. You're no longer a victim of the rush, distractions, or impulsive decisions. Each day becomes a conscious step toward your goals, and each night is an opportunity to learn and adjust your course. So, start practicing today. At the end of your day, set aside 5 minutes, take a deep breath, and review. Ask yourself, what did I accomplish that was important? What can I improve tomorrow? What am I grateful for today? By doing this, you'll notice something amazing. Small daily shifts in awareness create massive transformations over time. And that's how you stop being a spectator of your life and become the author of your story, creating more productive, balanced, and meaningful days. Because, in the end, it doesn't matter how busy you are. If you don't reflect on what you've done, each day can slip by unnoticed. And life, ethos, is built from conscious days, not wasted hours. One of the biggest mistakes that stops people from evolving is the endless chase for perfection. They believe they need to wait for the perfect moment, have all the resources, be 100% prepared before they act. But the brutal truth is, perfection is the enemy of action. While you wait to be ready, time passes. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and you find yourself in the same place, wondering how your life could have been different if only you had started earlier. And this isn't about lacking ability. It's simply the paralyzing effect of perfection. That's why the 7th habit is so powerful. Prioritize consistency over perfection. It's not about doing everything flawlessly. It's about doing things regularly, even with small imperfections. Because repetition is what generates real results over time. Think about something simple, learning a new skill. If you try to master everything at once, obsessively studying every detail, you'll end up exhausted and discouraged. But if you practice daily, even for a short time, you'll progress faster than you imagine. It's daily consistency, not one-off perfect effort, that turns learning into mastery. And this applies to all areas of life. At work, delivering something every day, even small, creates exponential results. With healthy habits, a short daily walk is more effective than trying to run 10 kilometers once and giving up. In relationships, listening and showing up regularly matters more than occasional grand gestures. Here's a powerful analogy. Imagine a drop of water falling constantly on a stone. At first, nothing seems to happen. But over time, that tiny, seemingly insignificant drop manages to shape the rock. That's exactly how consistency works. Small, repeated actions create deep changes. Now, pay attention. Consistency doesn't mean monotony. It's not about doing the same thing in the same way every single day. It's about maintaining the discipline to keep moving forward. Even when motivation wavers, even when fatigue hits, even when results seem slow. Because those who understand this know that success is an event. It's a continuous process. Another essential point, consistency fuels confidence. When you maintain small daily victories, the sense of control and competence grows. And confidence is a powerful cycle. The more consistent you are, the more confident you become. The more confident you are, the more consistently you act. And pay attention, ethos. This habit requires patience. There is no instant growth. Real progress is cumulative, almost invisible to the naked eye. But over time, it reveals itself in an impressive way. That's why insisting, even when no one sees it, even when the results haven't appeared yet, is the difference between those who remain stagnant and those who transform their own lives. Here's a powerful practice. Choose one small action that aligns with your goals and commit to doing it every day, even if imperfectly. It could be writing for 10 minutes a day, studying one page of a book, organizing your desk, or exercising for 5 minutes. The important thing is repetition, not perfection. And little by little, you'll realize that small, consistent actions create an unstoppable force. In the end, ethos, what defines winners is not momentary perfection, but daily persistence. It's constancy in the face of difficulties, discipline on days of discouragement, and continuing even when no one is watching. Because perfection does not build legacies. Consistency does. The routine of many people ends automatically. They come home, disconnect from the outside world, watch something on TV or on social media, and go to bed without reflecting on what they actually accomplished. But there's a silent power that few people use, the practice of reviewing their own day consciously. And it can be the difference between ordinary days and days that truly drive your growth. Daily review is much more than simply listing completed tasks. It's a practice of self-awareness and continuous learning, where you look at your successes, mistakes, and decisions, deeply understanding how your choices impacted the day's results. It's like analyzing a chess match after playing it. You see where you were strategic, where you went wrong, and how you could play better in the future. Without this reflection, the risk is huge. You repeat patterns, waste energy, and don't realize you're stuck. It's like walking in circles without noticing you always return to the same spot. But when you review consciously, you start to notice behavioral patterns, identify triggers that lead to mistakes, and reinforce habits that generate progress. A simple example. At the end of the day, sit down for a few minutes and ask yourself 3 key questions. What did I accomplish today that brings me closer to my goals? What could have been done differently to generate better results? What am I grateful for today? Answer sincerely. It's not about judging or blaming yourself, but about honestly observing what worked and what didn't. This practice creates self-awareness, which is a foundation of all personal and professional growth. In addition, this review strengthens emotional intelligence. When you identify a moment of tension, frustration, or impatience, and analyze what caused them, you start reacting more consciously in the future. You learn to distinguish impulsive reaction from strategic action, and that, ethos, completely changes how you handle daily stress. Another crucial point. Daily review is a moment of gratitude. Recognizing small victories and positive moments, even subtle ones, increases your motivation, improves your mood, and reduces anxiety. It could be something as simple as helping someone, completing a difficult task, or staying calm in a complicated situation. Gratitude creates a cycle of positive energy that reflects in every area of life. And attention, review doesn't need to be long. 5 to 10 minutes is enough to absorb the lessons of the day, identify opportunities for improvement, and plan small actions for the next day. The daily habit of reflection creates mental discipline and ensures that each day contributes significantly to your evolution. In the end, ethos, daily review transforms what will be just an automatic routine into a powerful tool for growth. It ensures that you don't just live the days, but learn from them, continuously improve, and build awareness of who you are and who you want to become. Because life is not measured only by what we do, but by what we learn and internalize along the way. And those who review consistently end each night stronger, wiser, and better prepared to conquer tomorrow. Most people ignore the power of small victories. They are so focused on giant goals, extraordinary results, or a distant future that they forget to recognize the steps they've already taken. But there's a powerful truth. Success is built from small daily triumphs. Celebrating achievements is not vanity or self-promotion. It's a conscious act of recognizing your own effort. Every step taken, every task completed, every challenge overcome deserves to be noticed, because that's what keeps motivation alive and transforms isolated actions into lasting habits. Think about this. When you achieve something big, it usually takes time to realize the real impact of that victory. But small achievements work as daily fuel. They are like little sparks that ignite an inner fire, generating energy, self-confidence, and motivation to keep moving forward. It's impossible to underestimate the cumulative effect of these small celebrations. Now, imagine this scenario. You woke up early, did your morning ritual, completed your 3 main priorities of the day, moved your body, nourished your mind, took small breaks, and reviewed the day. You feel exhausted, but also satisfied. If you don't celebrate this progress, the effort slips away like water through your fingers. But if you stop for a moment and acknowledge each action you completed, even if simple, something changes internally. You feel that what you do matters. And that feeling is powerful, ethos. It creates momentum, that invisible push that carries you forward even when motivation fades. And attention. Celebration doesn't need to be extravagant. It's not about parties or expensive rewards. It can be something as simple as smiling at yourself in the mirror, writing down the day's progress in a notebook, sharing the victory with someone who supports you. These small gestures have a huge psychological effect because they reinforce the value of effort and strengthen the identity of someone who accomplishes what they set out to do. In addition, celebrating small victories helps maintain perspective. Many people get discouraged because they look only at the future, at the big goal, without noticing the progress already made. By celebrating small steps, you recognize that each day matters and that every daily action is a brick in building the life you want. And here's a crucial point. Celebrating small victories reinforces positive habits. When you acknowledge your own effort, you create an emotional reward that strengthens behavior. That's how consistent habits are built and become part of your identity. Not through temporary willpower, but through conscious pleasure in seeing that you're advancing. Another incredible effect is self-esteem. With each accomplishment, no matter how small, you build within yourself a belief that you are capable of achieving. And that belief is more powerful than any technique or strategy, because it's the foundation of all future action. Finally, athos, celebrating small victories, is also a form of gratitude. Gratitude for your own effort, for opportunities, for the people who help along the way, and even for the challenges that test your strength. When you recognize all of this, life stops being an endless race and becomes a conscious and meaningful journey. So here's the habit. At the end of the day, take a moment to acknowledge all your small victories. Write them down, say them out loud, share them, smile. Every small celebration is an inner victory that turns discipline into pleasure, effort into motivation, and routine into continuous progress. Because in the end, athos, life is made of small steps, and by celebrating each one of them, you build great achievements. And so, did you see how small habits can completely transform your day? It's not magic, it's not luck, it's practice, consistency, and attention to what really matters. Every step you take, even if it seems small, counts. Every morning you wake up and apply these habits, you are investing in your future. But pay attention. Don't think that just because you finish this video, everything will change on its own. Transformation happens when you start applying each habit to your daily life. And if you're not careful, routine can swallow you again without you even noticing, just like it happens to so many people who go through their days stuck in the same cycle and then wonder, where did my time go? So stay alert, because the real power of these habits lies precisely in your consistency. If you get distracted, even for a day or two, the effect begins to fade. But if you apply them every day, even little by little, you will feel the impact on your energy, your productivity, and even your mood. And if you want to take the next step and truly elevate your days even further, there's another video here on the channel that's appearing on the screen right now, which will show you even more powerful strategies to control your time and achieve incredible results. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any tip that can transform your life. And remember, each day is an opportunity that never comes back, so make every moment count.